guys, I'm Linda.
And I'm Vicky.
And we're Partners in Crime. So today is opening day for baseball, so I had to bring my Phillies hat. So we hope the Phillies do really well this year. I know a lot of our viewers probably have other teams that they're rooting for. We're rooting for the Phillies.
Yep.
So hopefully they'll do well with this shortened season. But it's nice to see a sport start again after everything.
I think they're going to have cutouts for the audience. Did you see that?
I did. So that's going to be interesting too, and they will have noise. They're going to have audience noise as well. So I think that'll help with the for the baseball players.
That's funny.
We're going to do some housekeeping right now. So please subscribe to our channel. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. Thank you, everyone. We really appreciate you. Mm-hmm. We have like so many cool people that watch our videos, and we couldn't do it without you guys, so thank you so much. We love the comments, and you're giving us a lot of information, which we love too, so thank you. We really appreciate it.
And a lot of good advice as well. So
for sure. And
it's really helpful.
You'll see the little things that we're doing because our viewers ask us to do it, so that's what we're doing. I do want to give a shout out to Julie from the Dove. So say hi to Julie.
Hi, Julie.
And we're just going to start in. Obviously, we're here. We're still here.
Congratulations, you made the cut.
Yes, I did. So did you. So we didn't think that we were that blessed, but obviously we are. So everyone is still here, thank God. Mm-hmm. And
although Melanie Gibb did say to Nate Eaton in an interview that she doesn't know where July 22nd came from.
Oh,
she
now
thought
they're
it was.
Changing their
she
tune.
thought it was more in August.
Okay.
But July 22nd seems to have stuck around, so we're going with that.
For sure. And now we have our wine segment. So we did have a viewer ask us to try a Malbec, which we did. This is from Argentina. This is Argento. And we're going to try it and let you know what we think with our True Crime and Wine glasses.
Although I got to admit, I did take a sip or two.
Okay, I haven't yet, so.
But it is good.
It is pretty good. I do like that.
It's very good. I'm not a dry wine person, but that's good.
That is. So again, this is Argento. And this was like it wasn't an expensive wine, but it wasn't a really cheap wine. So if you're out there looking for it, I think we could recommend that.
Sure.
Okay. So now we're going to get into it. I did see a video, Vicky, Tyson Draper, who Tyson has been doing videos. He's out there in Rexburg. He's also working on the Suzanne Morphew case and that sort of thing. So he's a YouTuber that goes out and tries to talk to people that he finds. He was at Chad Daybell's son Garth's home, and Garth did talk to him. And he didn't say much. He was basically just telling him, he did a video at his mom's grave, and Garth said he did see that, and he appreciated it.
Yeah, he was really kind to him.
And you take a look at this kid, and he's an adult, but you just look at him, he has a family, and you just your heart breaks because he didn't ask for any of this. His family didn't ask for any of this. He didn't want his mother to die. So he was a very gracious person, as far as I could tell, letting Tyson talk to him. And
I think it helped that Tyson wasn't judgmental.
Right.
He just, gave him a lot of empathy. And I thought that helped bring that out in them.
Yeah, I think most of us should give them empathy because these kids, like I said, yes, they lived in this household with their parents, or they grew up with their parents and everything. But, people keep things from people, and even Tylee and JJ probably didn't know half of what their mom was doing.
Sure.
So, yeah, it was nice to hear from Garth, and he's a pretty cool guy, I would say. Yeah, so I'm sure Chad and Tammy's kids are pretty good people. So, we just want to say we're sorry that you're dealing with all this, and, hopefully it gets better sooner than later. But it's going to be hard for a while.
Oh my
I just
gosh.
don't want the sins of their father to reflect on them.
Especially if there's some result in their mother's autopsy that incriminates his father or their father in her death.
Right.
Then it's going to really be challenging for them.
Yeah.
So, and we're still waiting for that. Still waiting for the autopsy report. I think they're going to hold off on that until they can really use it in a trial. I don't think they'll give out much information about it.
Okay. Yeah, so until we know what happened to everybody, it's kind of just in limbo right now, but, the authorities know what they're doing. So, I have something that I found online, and it looks like this is someone that was actually part of the AVOW group. So that was preparing the people. There's this big group called AVOW. And this is a post from someone I found online. They crossed out the picture and the name. It does look like it's a woman, though, from the little parts of the picture I can see. And this person's just talking about AVOW and Chad. And it says there's an online preparedness group called AVOW that Chad Daybell and Julie Rowe belong to. It's a good group. I belong to it. But the point I want to make is within this online group was a special group of people that paid more money to be part of GRI. I asked what was so special about the group. I wanted to know why they paid extra money to have access to that information. I was told by the owner it was among other things to hear Chad Daybell's revelations and Chad and Julie Rowe's revelations, etc. Well, a good person does not buy or sell their personal spiritual experiences. This was a huge red flag to me. If you ask me, and I could be wrong, Chad and Laurie's $144,000 is in that group. They've been paying money to hear Chad's revelations. They probably feel pretty stupid about now following a murderer. We all make mistakes and can be prideful. None of us is perfect, but they could probably shed a lot of light on Chad Daybell.
Right. And for those of you not knowing what that acronym stands for, AVOW, AVOW, is another voice of warning. So it's another prepper. It's another prepper splintered group off of Preparing a People. So Preparing a People was formed by Nancy and Michael James. They were very involved with Chad, with Laurie, with Melanie Gibb. Preparing a People is like a network of speakers and they held conferences and podcasts, and they also held the podcast under another media name. I think it's Color My Media, but it's all formed by Nancy and Michael James. And I'm sure that's for business reasons that they separated the groups. But Christopher Parrott was the founder, I guess, or the coordinator of AVOW. He was an avid Chad supporter.
Yes, definitely.
Up until as recently as March. He was claiming that it was all brought on by Kay Wilcox in a nasty custody fight, and that none of this was true about Chad and Laurie, and he was really defending them up until they found the bodies of the children.
Yes.
And then, now he's changed his tune, of course.
Yeah. after Chad was arrested, Parrott and his wife spoke to Fox 13 News explaining that they felt terrible and that they had no idea the kids were dead. They also said they wanted people to know they had nothing to do with this. Parrott declined to reveal because he did say he talked to them for over an hour before, when he was still on their side. And he did decline to say what they talked about when he did talk to Chad and Laurie before the kids were found and before he actually realized what was going on.
He said something like he has to eat a lot of crow now because of him defending them.
Yeah. Yeah, and there is a statement too. And in it, he says, in keeping with my pledge to eat crow over my misplaced trust and faith in Chad, last week I contacted the police, FBI, and extended an invitation for them to come and meet with me and have a long talk about Chad Daybell. I made it very clear that I was offering to help them in any manner I could. So at this point, he did also say that they did come, they had a good meeting, and he'll help in assisting them with any remaining holes that there are in the story.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sure he told them about that hour-long conversation he had that he's not disclosing to the public.
Right.
With them. So.
Yeah, what was going on. Right. So we do have, though, one of the other people, Hector Sosa, who is still on their side and saying that, you know, at this point, everyone in the country is innocent until proven guilty, and yada, yada, yada. And he's not going to make any judgments until all the facts are known.
Come on, Hector.
I know. How do you... Who put the kids there?
Yeah, how do you justify that?
Yeah.
So,
and I have some stories about, in another video that we'll post, I'm going to give you kind of, and once I read these, and I apologize, I have to read them because you need to get an idea as to Chad's mindset and Hector's mindset. And, you know, Chad, I was watching a video on, I think Web Sleuths. I think it was Web Sleuths, and it was, they were talking to a schoolmate of Chad's. She knew him when he was a teenager, and she did say that he was the big man on campus, believe it or not, when he was younger. You know, she was friends with Tammy as well, and Tammy was younger, so it was surprising that she befriended Tammy because she was older, and usually in high school you don't talk to the younger kids. But she said Tammy, and everybody says Tammy was just amazing. But she did say Chad was big man on campus, and he probably had a chip on his shoulder. So she could understand how this could evolve into something like this. And the belief system and everything, again, like the person said in this, a good person doesn't buy or sell their experiences, their personal experiences, spiritual experiences. So basically this was just a money maker. They had revelations supposedly from having near-death experiences and whatnot, and people paid to hear them.
Right, and the more I learn about Chad's behavior and the stories he's been telling people, the more I realize he's really a con artist. He, you know, even way back in 2002, Suzanne Freeman was one of the first authors he published. His publishing company was just getting started then. And she said at first, his books were really supporting, I guess.
Mainstream.
But they were LDS based.
Right, yeah.
And she said, you know, he never told her, and she's knew him for years, about 16 years they worked together.
Mm-hmm.
He never told her anything about having near-death experiences. Now, she
That's
did,
interesting.
and that's why she got involved with writing a book about it. She wrote
Right.
several books.
Mm-hmm.
But she even said, if you have a near-death experience, you tend to talk about it, especially to other people who have had that,
Mm-hmm.
that, you know, revelation or whatever it is. And so it makes you question everything from him.
Mm-hmm.
Did he really? Or was that just another way for him to get people to be involved with him?
Mm-hmm.
So she stopped, well, he really stopped writing with her because she was annoyed that he moved so far away from LDS and was getting into things like portals and
Science fiction.
And,
sounds
you know,
like, yeah.
dark spirits, light spirits. She said she didn't want any involvement in that.
Mm-hmm.
So they stopped their association. And then there was a fight over royalties
Mm-hmm.
and relinquishing her rights to the books or the money or whatever they get back to her
Mm-hmm.
because he had that.
Right.
She went to an attorney, and an attorney told her he never saw a contract that was so one-sided in Chad's favor. So there you go.
Yeah, that's his MO, I guess.
Yeah.
I do have a few other things about that I found delving into some of the people, some of our usual suspects. Nate Eaton was on 97.1 ZHT around the beginning of July, and he was just being interviewed by them. And he was saying that Laurie, at that point, hasn't been able to speak to Chad for 3 or 4 weeks. She's been distanced from him. They spoke every day for hours when she was originally arrested back in February and March. They'd have video chats for hours on end. And he was telling her stuff that wasn't necessarily true, which kept her quiet. So he was telling her lies, that the public supported her, that this will be over soon, that she would overcome this. If she listened to anything, she would know the public was not on her side. So
I don't know. Did she have a way of listening to anything? I mean, did she have access?
well, this was before he got arrested. So she was able, when you're in jail, you're able to talk to people
Okay.
on the outside and stuff. So
All right.
at that point, she was still talking to Chad. Then he gets arrested and communication is stopped because inmates can't talk to inmates.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? At this point, she doesn't have her little birdie in her ear telling her, oh, it's all fine and you're going to be wonderful and, you know, everybody's supporting you. They're on your side.
And you're a god, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what he was telling her.
And he was saying in the courtroom when she saw her son that, you know, they did have that little tear. And maybe the truth started hitting her at that point. Who knows?
I don't know.
You know, she's gone through... one thing I did find out about Laurie was, and I don't know if this was out there before, but Charles was the president at PFS Marketing, LLC. Laurie apparently didn't work, but yet she was listed as the assistant to the president.
Oh.
So she was on the books. You know,
Mm-hmm.
she didn't do anything, as far as we know, in there. But she was on the books working for Charles.
Another way for him to cash out of the business, I guess, with her.
Yeah, to
giving
keep-
her salary or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we do know that Alex was arrested a number of times. We have on August 16th of 2007, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. That was in Travis County, Texas. February 28th of 2008, he was arrested, felony count of fugitive of justice in Maricopa County, Arizona. So I don't know if that was related to the deadly weapon arrest. And then March 31st, there was another offense, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. again, this was in Travis County, Texas. I don't know if these are all the same. They listed them separately and they gave separate dates. So I don't know if there were more than one charge filed, and that's why this was listed. Zulema, she also had some run-ins with the law. Her last name is Pastenis. It used to be Hunter. I found out that. So I don't know if anybody wants to look up for information on Zulema Hunter.
That must mean something, Pastenis.
Yeah.
It must have some...
She was probably married to someone. I'm
Could
thinking
be.
it's a last name.
Or not any kind of biblical reference.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows. Let us know. In October 28th of 1996, charges were filed for dangerous drug possession of use in Maricopa County, Arizona. And again, on July 20th of 1998, the same again. I'm not sure if these are all one and they just dragged them out for the couple of years. I don't know that much about it. If anybody knows, if you want to let us know, we'd really appreciate it.
I just know that he had a checkered past, especially since he also made an attempt on Joseph Ryan's life.
Yeah.
So, I'm not surprised by any of his past problems with the law.
Yeah. And I do have a lot of notes, so I apologize. I know some people don't like us looking at notes. There's just so much information.
So many people.
And I do want to read what people have said.
Yeah.
I want to read exactly what they're saying. So I know we did have someone ask us about the preliminary hearing. What does that entail? So I looked it up, and a preliminary hearing is often called a probable cause hearing. And in that regard, its purpose is only to weigh the sufficiency of the evidence. However, the hearing does give both sides a glimpse of the prosecution's likely witnesses and their credibility issues. So basically that's what that is, just to make sure all the evidence is sufficient to move forward with a trial, also for the prosecutor's witnesses and how credible they are. So I guess they get that all out of the way, so when they do go to trial, this could keep them from going to trial as well if all of this information isn't sufficient to go to trial. So that's basically
I think
what that is.
Yeah, and I think basically the two hearings that we're aware of that Laurie was involved in was mostly about bonds. And I don't believe any witnesses were brought up.
No.
At least not anything that they showed, anyway.
No.
And I thought I heard that the next hearing is they're not going to let any video be there.
Okay.
I thought I read that somewhere, but I couldn't tell you
Or
where.
maybe they're trying to keep that from happening.
Could be.
Maybe they're asking for that.
You mean the defense?
Yeah.
Yeah. It could be.
Yeah. So I also found something online about there was a particular post from the LDS Freedom Forum that stood out to this person that posted this. So they included the whole post. I'm not going to go through the whole post. I'm just going to pick out some interesting information. This person said it feels kind of creepy knowing that this person had these people that he's talking about in their home, and some of them at the same time. So Michael and Nancy, Preparing the People, they're the founders of that. They were booking auditoriums so they could get me to tell a bunch of lies for them to a bunch of people for a bunch of money. So basically, again, it's just you put that out there, get everybody all worked up about something, and they'll pay to listen to people talk about it.
Right.
Chad and Julie were trying to get this person to let them write a book about the whole thing, which included very few actual facts. So they were trying to get this person to write a book, but write it their way, as opposed to what really happened. And then the reason why the person posted this was, he said, who is this guy? Well, his name is Dan Judd, so we do know it is a Dan Judd. And because he posted his full name on the thread. And he claims that he has inherited the lost 116 pages of the Book of Mormon, known as the Book of Lehi. All of our LDS people out there, you probably know about this. From the way he tells it, for a short time, Chad and others were incredibly interested in his manuscript, but mainly seemed more interested in promoting their own agenda, and Dan didn't like it, so he cut ties with them pretty early. Dan Judd was invited by Mike and Nancy James, Preparing a People again, to speak at a camp in Morgan. This appears to be the first time he interacted with this group and shared about his 116 pages. He and his wife attended the weekend of the eclipse, August 21st of 2017. Shell McDermott either got her info about Dan from the camp itself or from someone who attended the camp, and her announcement corresponds with the camp date. So I guess they were checking in to make sure that he actually was at this camp the time frame that he said he was. And the reason why it's significant is because Dan claims he met Chad, Tammy, Laurie, and Tylee.
Oh, Tylee went.
That weekend.
Wow.
He remembers Tylee well because she asked for his autograph after he gave his talk. This is a year before Laurie was supposed to have known Chad.
There you go.
2017 is important for a couple of reasons. First, Laurie said Tylee went dark at 12 or 13. Tylee would have been 13 at that camp. And then Tylee's father is still alive at that point. His mysterious death happened in 2018, but supposedly before she met Chad. So what if she did know Chad before that?
Yeah.
And
she
she's
did.
dealing with Joseph Ryan. And Dan Judd's account is that Chad and Laurie were actually already acting like an Eidam, and he was surprised when Tammy was introduced as his wife. Yeah, if Chad and Laurie are already involved, it makes Joe's death looks very suspicious. And that in the 2017 Morgan camp, that's where Chad and Melanie Gibb met. She introduced herself and invited him to speak in Gilbert, Arizona, which we talked about before. Now they say if Laurie was there, it doesn't make any sense for Melanie to say she didn't know Laurie. But maybe, I don't know, that's the part that we don't understand. Like,
Melanie Gibb you're talking about?
Correct. Could Melanie Gibb have met Chad, but Laurie wasn't around?
I gotta wonder about Melanie Gibb. We all saw the interviews with her and Nate Eaton, and Dateline. And I believe she may be more entangled in this whole thing than she's admitting. And
it seems to be that way.
I think so. And this whole thing about her going and hiding bothered me. Like, who was she going and hiding from? Was it law enforcement? Because she didn't go to them earlier when she knew things like Laurie saying the kids were, that JJ was a zombie. She was the last one to see him with her boyfriend.
Yeah. And she did hear Laurie call Tylee a zombie
as well.
So,
I mean, she
knows what that means.
Yeah, that's why.
They know they have to get rid of them. They have to kill them for their soul to...
So, I wouldn't be surprised, and this is just my opinion, if she hasn't cut some kind of a deal with law enforcement because of her involvement. Now, I don't say that she was involved with killing the kids, but because of all of the information that she withheld.
Why not go? If you think something could happen.
So I really think, I would be surprised if we hear that there was some kind of a deal cut because of that.
Right. And she said she went to the police. I don't think we ever heard the police say, yes, she did come to us.
Yeah.
We did, who knows? That's just what she said. Doesn't mean that's how it happened either.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, and this person thinks that Dan Judd's timeline makes sense. Now that you hear it, it kind of does click, because he's saying with all of this stuff happening within, a 6-month period, that's a lot to happen and to hide in that short amount of time.
Right.
It had to have been thought out a lot longer.
Yeah.
I also was watching a video. They were saying in January, apparently Laurie and Alex had a fight, and they were out in the streets, and the neighbors were saying,
I did hear that.
Yeah, I don't think it was. Yeah, I think it was in Alex's neighborhood, and they thought it was, like a husband and wife, spatting. But they did say that Laurie kept saying, "You are
a disgrace
to the family." Who knows? Maybe he was saying, "I'm not killing anyone for you."
Yeah.
You don't know what that was about, but that's curious.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Again, this is all speculation on our part. So
that's all we can
but,
do.
But
that's all everybody can do.
Yeah, and, you have all these facts, and you're trying to make it make sense.
Right.
Seems that could be it.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I didn't give credit to Nate Eaton for that interview with Suzanne Freeman, the one of the first authors. So that's where that information did come from. Nate
Okay.
Eaton.
Got it.